In the conference, Morgan State, senior night, final game of the regular season at Hill Fieldhouse. They're in the gray, and Delaware State in their black uniforms. It's the Bears, it's the Hornets. MEAC basketball on a Monday on ESPN+. Been looking forward to this game. The last time these two teams played, Delaware State won in Dover by 2 points, 84-82. That's how close it was back on February the 3rd. Expecting that kind of game here tonight.
We should enjoy this matchup with Robert Smith and Cameron Hobbs.
Yeah, what a matchup. Robert Smith, 470 points, averaging 17.4 a game. A dynamic score just like Hobbs is for Morgan State. Delaware State has 3 players, coach, over 400 points on the season. Will Thomas on senior night, special for him, the Baltimore kid. Inside goes the Bears, gets a couple of opportunities, but then clearing the glass, coming the other way. Watson with the rebound. Watson has some size, 6'9" sophomore from Philadelphia, played at West Catholic, coming the other end. Battling for the rebound. Morgan State has it. No score. Just about a minute in.
2 defensive rebounds by Will Thomas.
Will Thomas, special night for him, senior night. Even the mayor here tonight to see him on senior night. Hobbs with the first points of the night. Hobbs had a 30-point performance against Norfolk State. Has had some massive games in MEAC play in his senior season. It was emotional for him tonight, also a senior. One of 8 seniors for Morgan State.
Morgan State is doing a very good job, only allowing 1 shot. They push the ball down and try to get into their set.
Limiting those second chance buckets, always atop of coach's list if you want to win a game. Make sure your opponent doesn't get second and third opportunities. Morgan up 2-0. This is a big game as far as seedings are concerned in the final week of the MEAC regular season play before they set the seedings for the Scope Arena in Norfolk. Last year, Delaware State, they had a run. They made it all the way to the championship game. Had Howard on the ropes late in that championship game. Howard ended up won the game, and Delaware State had some players that left in the portal. Three-pointer up and good by Rob Lawson. Lawson with his 19th three-pointer of the season.
Lawson, a very strong guard.
It's 5-0. Talked to Coach Waterman, and he was really disappointed that he had some of his key players that were part of that stretch run last year leave the team, but he was able to pick up the Watson twins, and he picked up some players as well and got that guy right there going to the glass, Robinson, to stay for his grad year. Everyone thought that Robinson, who's one of the top scorers in the MEAC, was going to also leave Delaware State, but he didn't and stayed with Coach Waterman for his grad year. And it's a homecoming for him. He's a Baltimore kid out of Newtown. 5-0's our score. Shot off the mark by Smith.
Very ingenious inbounds play. One pass and you get a guy open for 3.
Hobbs. Three-pointer from the wing. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Will Thomas. Will Thomas, we call him a mid-range monster, but he also possesses a nice three-point shot. Will Thomas with his 22nd 3 of the season.
And we're going to enjoy his energy this evening. It's his last game here.
16-footer falls short for Robinson. Robinson, they played Virginia Tech in the beginning of the season, Coach. He had 30 that night against Virginia Tech.
Oh.
He is a scorer, has been a scorer in this league for the last couple of years, and is a Baltimore native. Smith misses the 3, but the putback and the follow up and good by Newton. Newton, 6'5" senior from Philadelphia, played at Archbishop Wood.
Foul called Bears on 3, Rob Watson. His second personal, first personal, second team foul.
Foul was on Lawson, his first. Newton to the line is 48% foul shooter, so he struggled at the foul line this season. Gets the roll and the basket. 7-3 score now.
Little pressure here, a little zone pressure, the 1-2, 1-2-2.
Four-point lead for Morgan State.
This is one of Morgan State's better lineups when they can put Lawson on the ball and let Hobbs just move around and try to find some shots.
Trying to get it inside to Akitobi. Akitobi coming off that big game over the weekend where he had team-high 23 points. Akitobi with it. Out to Hobbs. 2 to shoot. Just beat the shot clock. Shot didn't go in. Newton with the rebound, and here comes the Hornets.
Excellent rebound by Newton. It didn't fall right in front of him. He went and got it.
Turnover by Delaware State. Delaware State on the season, coach. They only turn it over an average of 12 a game.
That's not
protect
bad.
the basketball pretty well.
Yep.
And Coach Waterman, one of the best high school coaches in Delaware State history, 8 state titles. And then his first job outside of high school was at Delaware State. And he's done a nice job in his 4th season. Akitobi working down low, gets it stopped by Watson, and they fight for the basketball. I believe it's going to be a jump ball call as Akitobi hits the floor. And there's a timeout on the court. Morgan State with a 7-3 lead over Delaware State.
Now is the time, and this is the place.
We are MEAC.
Let's take a look at the season stats between these two teams, how they compare. Very close with as far as points. Morgan scores 80, Delaware State scores 78, and then points given up pretty identical. Very similar stats between these two teams. That's why they played to a 2-point game in Dover in an earlier meeting. Smith couldn't handle it, turns it over. Here comes Morgan State up 7-3.
Akitobi scooped it up. He'll be credited with a steal on that play.
Will Thomas with the basketball. Now down to Akitobi. That's going to be Akitobi and Watson. An interesting matchup. 2 big players going up against each other. Rebound Morgan State. The second chance, the second opportunity for Martin, the 6'10" junior from Miami. There to get the opposite rebound and putback.
Somebody lost their man.
Watson misses the 3. Of course, you have the Watson twins. They transferred from California State University of Bakersfield, went all the way out west from West Catholic in Philadelphia, and then decided we'll come back and play for Coach Waterman a little closer to home in Dover, Delaware.
Yeah, it's always nice to, I mean, a lot of people like to get away, but it's nice to stay close to home. Your parents can come see you play, your friends. There's a lot of opportunity there.
Hobbs got to the line. Andrews committed the foul. Andrews is first. Hobbs on the foul line makes the first. And here's what Hobbs has done in conference play. He has really saved his best for conference play. That's when he started to turn it on. Some amazing numbers by Cam Hobbs. And he had a big group come out for senior night. And coach, I don't know if you caught it, they were wearing the Team Cam shirts.
Yeah.
They were all fitted out in their shirts. 8 seniors.
He is well loved here.
Yes, he is, especially for the way he has played in MEAC play. Inside, the turnaround doesn't fall. Good move to get inside to the glass, but Newton wasn't able to put it in for Delaware State, and back comes Morgan State as Hobbs drives and he's fouled. As far as teams being hot, you know, Coach Waterman's team, they're winners of 8 of their last 11 games. And Morgan, in their last 6, coach, just 2-4. So they want to put some wins together. They won over the weekend against Maryland Eastern Shore, 75-72. Coach Waterman will host Maryland Eastern Shore on Thursday, and Morgan State will stay in Baltimore to play Coppin State to finish out the regular season. Martin missed it, and here comes Delaware State down 11-3. They've been struggling to shoot the basketball. Just 1 of 10, coach, shooting is Delaware State so far in this first half.
Delaware State's trying to get their feet up under them.
Inside, the turnaround by Andrews doesn't fall. Rebound is fought for one by Delaware State. They get a second opportunity and now a third opportunity. And finally a whistle and the foul as Andrews went up for the shot, the grad student from Detroit, Michigan.
One of the things the Bears got to do in situations like that, you've got to clear it out. You got to put your butt on them. You got to put your back on them. Dig them out of there.
Andrews to the line, a 64% foul shooter on the season. As a team, Delaware State shoots 72% from the foul line. Again, right now struggling from the field. Morgan State 4 of 12 from the field. Delaware State 1 of 10 from the field. This is the foul shot. And here comes Amari Simpkins off the bench. And Coach, you think that Morgan's different team when Simpkins is on the floor?
Absolutely. I really, really like the way he plays. He just fits in, and you know his skill set is basically meant for a team like the Morgan State Bears.
Andrew misses both, but the putback by Newton gives Delaware State 2 points on the board. So they missed 2 foul shots, but they're able to get the rebound and the putback. It's 11-5.
A little zone pressure here.
Thomas this season 400 points, Hobbs 440 points. So Morgan State with 2 players have scored over 400 points, and as I said before, Delaware State has 3 players that have scored over 400 points this season. Both these teams like to score a lot. Morgan State, as we showed earlier, about 80 a game, and Delaware State 78 points per game. So they can put it up. They can score a lot of points.
Yeah, and for the most part, Morgan State has led the MEAC in offensive potency.
Of course, Morgan State has a win over Norfolk State. That was a big win. They were able to beat Norfolk State here at home. At home, they're pretty good. 10-4 at home this season. Morgan State, not so good on the road, Coach. 2-12 on the road.
That's one of the things they'll have to correct.
But 2-12 away from the Den, 10-4 here at Hill Fieldhouse, their final game of the season. And it's the final week of the MEAC, and then tournament play gets underway. 3-pointer shot by James. Rebound, Delaware State, and they get a second opportunity. There's a steal by the Bears, and here they come on transition. What a nice move to the glass, all the way from one end to the other. What a great job there by Trent Edwards. Edwards played in 23 games last season, only averaged 2 points a game. From Lexington, Kentucky, the sophomore at 6'8", made a big play. Watson, turnaround, doesn't fall. Another second opportunity. That's Robinson getting the rebound and the basket. Second chance buckets is what's keeping Delaware State in it. 13-7 score.
And I'm sure Coach Brodus didn't like the idea that one of his bigs had a guard take the ball right out of his hands and lay it up.
Isn't that something? You have the rebound, but then you get it taken away
by a little guy.
13-7, Morgan State with the lead. The Hornets with the basketball. Like I said, they have been hot. Winners of 8 of their last 11 games. And they would love to have a 3rd seed in the MEAC tournament. We showed you the standings as we started here tonight, and very possible that they could, but these last 2 games of the regular season so important.
One of the things that Delaware State does not lack is size.
Yeah.
They have a kid 6'10", 6'8", 6'9", 6'11", 6'11".
Yes, Somerville's in the game now. He's a grad student from Media, PA. He's 6'11". Delaware State cuts it to 13-9. Three-pointer. Hobbs. He can shoot it. Cam Hobbs, transfer from North Greenville University.
Hobbs is in his bag today.
Yep, he's ready to go on senior night with all his supporters here. There's a steal by Hobbs, and here comes Morgan State on the run. Pretty reverse, doesn't fall in. Lawson missed the reverse. Here comes Robinson, will set things up for Delaware State. The Bears up 16-9. Robinson in the paint. Contact, no call. Rebound pulled down by Morgan State. Here comes Hobbs and the Bears pushing her on transition.
They are letting them play.
Akatobi gets his own rebound, back up, and puts it in. Akatobi gets 2 shots. Missed the first, got his own rebound, and put it in, and it's 18-9.
Akatobi's on those boards getting second shots and got a stick back. Morgan State switching up the defensive pressure here. They're in like a 2-1-2 matchup.
Delaware State trying to figure it out. Robinson for 3. Rebound, a second opportunity. So many second chances here in this early part of the game. There's a whistle, fighting for the rebound, and a foul on Delaware State.
Great job by Karan Oliver.
There's a timeout on the floor. Morgan State Bears looking good on senior. To South Carolina State. Also, Coppin State tied up with Maryland Eastern Shore. Very important tonight and Thursday. The final 2 games, final week of MEAC play before the tournament begins. I showed you the standings before. South Carolina State in second place, right behind Norfolk State at 9-3 in conference play. Norfolk State 10-2. And then you have Delaware State, Howard all at 7-5, and Morgan right there at 6-6. So a lot to be played for in these last 2 games in the last final week of the regular season of the MEAC. Hobbs has 7 points, leading the way for Morgan State. Newton has 5, leading the way for Delaware State. Hobbs with the shot, and there's a foul on Morgan State, and Simpkins commits the foul.
One of the things Delaware State decided to do was go 1-2-2 back into a man-to-man, and it worked out for them. They ended up getting a foul call underneath the basket.
Robinson.
They are letting them play.
Yeah, they are. There's some contact out there, Coach. Inside look. Shot was missed by Andrews, and then they're really going after it. Second opportunity to go up. And Delaware State will head to the line. Take a look at the contacts. Right at the rim, Coach.
Yeah, that's where the big guys go.
A lot of verticality here between, you already said some of the size, some of the heights of Delaware State. Morgan State also very vertical as well. They have some height also.
It's going to be very important that Akatobi stays in the game and doesn't run into foul trouble, because they're going to need him when it's crunch time tonight.
Somerville on the line made his first. He's a 50% foul shooter on the season. Somerville, a grad student. A couple of grad students on this Delaware State team, which is good to have because you have that experience and that maturity.
Here's it 1-2-2 again.
18-11, Morgan State with the lead and the basketball.
Morgan State's being very, very patient.
Hobbs 2 for 2 from the field. Has a three-pointer, has 7 points. Leading Morgan in scoring. There he goes. Hobbs in the paint. Gets it knocked away and a steal, and here comes the Hornets on transition the other way to the glass, and good by Robert Smith. Robert Smith, the Westchester University transfer, Division II school out of Pennsylvania, where he scored over 1,000 points there in his time at Westchester University out of the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Division II program, and he's been nothing but tremendous here as one of the top scorers in the MEAC this year. Hobbs goes to the basket, no foul called, and there's a player down. It's Somerville that's down for Delaware State. So Delaware State is playing 4-on-5 right now on the offensive end. And now a whistle and a stoppage as Somerville is down and injured. Somerville being helped off. 18-13, Morgan State with the lead in this crucial game for seedings in the MEAC.
Somerville 6'11", and he's being replaced by number 1, a 6'10", Austin Andrews from Detroit, Michigan, a grad transfer.
Yeah, Coach Waterman, when he looks down the bench, he's got height, and then he's got height, and then he's got more height.
Yes, he does.
Oliver, nice look. Akatobi for the two-handed jam. Beautiful pass by Oliver. Akatobi sends it down.
And that's the kind of aggression they're gonna need from Akatobi.
7-point lead now for the Bears. Good ball movement by the Hornets, looking to get it inside themselves, but it keeps out on the perimeter. Smith for three, knocks it down. When he gets hot, look out.
Yeah, I've been hearing about Smith. I heard his bag so deep, it's almost like a surprise at the bottom of it.
Yes, it's like a Cracker Jack box. There's plenty of surprises there. Thomas the other way. There's the mid-range that we know and love from Will Thomas. They call him the mid-range monster. He can shoot it from mid-range. Robinson for three at the other end. Morgan clears it, and here they come quickly. Hobbs on transition. Gets in the paint, and he gets fouled. Morgan State off to a quick start here with 7:04 to go. Of 26 from the field, that's only 23%.
It's not good.
Compared to Morgan State shooting almost 43%. The thing that's keeping the Hornets in it, they have 9 second chance buckets.
Yes, they're doing a real good job on those boards. I like how strong their guards are with the basketball.
Lawson in at point, running the point now for Morgan State. Lawson, pull-up jumper. Doesn't fall in. Here comes the Hornets.
The Bears are doing a good job in transition, getting back to defend their bucket.
Trying to get the ball inside, and a turnover.
And they got it right back.
Delaware State now 6 turnovers. But the Bears give the Hornets another opportunity. Pull-up jumper from 15 feet doesn't fall in by Surgers.
Akatobi with another rebound.
Caleb Surgers, sophomore from North Carolina. Three-pointer from the wing, off the mark by Thomas.
Akatobi has 7 rebounds already.
Incredible. Three-pointer in the air and nothing but net. Robert Smith. Smith starting to get hot. 8 points now for Smith.
Again, Smith's that guy they say has the deep bag.
71 three-pointers, coach, for Smith this season. There's the miss by Lawson. It's 22-19. 5:15 to go in the first half. Smith misses. Rebound pulled down by Thomas. Here comes Morgan State. Three-pointer from the wing. Nothing but net. Oliver with his 15th three of the season.
Morgan State is doing a much better job of shooting the ball and finishing at the rim.
Oliver, a transfer from New Mexico State. Down in the paint is Robinson. Stays with it. Fighting for that ball. Morgan State on the floor and comes up with it. Akatobi dribbling it up. Looking for a guard to give it to, and he does. Akatobi realized pretty quickly that he shouldn't be handling the ball up front. Gave it up to one of his guards. Rob Lawson has it. Now back to Akatobi.
Both teams are doing a real good job in transition.
Martin. Pretty shot from Martin. Turnaround jumper for the big junior from Miami, Florida. 27-19.
Again, Morgan State switches up the defense.
Just when Delaware State was working down the lead, Morgan State extends it. Foul called on Lawson, his second. Cheerleaders here tonight at Hill Fieldhouse Senior Night, final game of the regular season. The Bears trying to protect the Den. Coach Waterman trying to get his second win conference play over Morgan State. He has some work to do. His team down 27-19. Smith leaves it off. Beautiful pass. And Watson finished it with a reverse layup.
Watson's very smooth. 6'9".
84 assists on the season for Robert Smith. He was an outstanding Division II college basketball player in the state of Pennsylvania the last few years, and he's translated wonderfully here in the MEAC play. Here comes the Hornets on the break. Kick out to Smith. They got him for a travel. 6-point game, 27-21, 3:14 to go before the half. Take a look at this nice drive by Smith and the dump in the reverse by Watson.
Morgan State is being very, very careful with the basketball.
Coach, are you surprised we're still in the 20s for two teams that both like to score 80?
Yes.
Three-pointer from the corner by Oliver.
That's his second one.
Oliver came in 14 of 49, just 28% from three-point land. And tonight, he's on it with his threes. 2 for 2 from beyond the three-point arc. Offensive player control foul called on Delaware State.
I don't think the timing on that screen and the ball handler was really synchronized properly.
There you saw it on the replay. You're right, Coach. So the foul was called on Surgers, his first. Morgan State 12-16 overall, 6-6 in conference play, and they know what the next week means. They want to get right in that mix. They could go from anywhere from the 5th seed to the 4th seed to the 3rd seed. That's what's on the line. This shot and a foul on the floor.
The referee was saying that the defensive player went to box out, but he had his hands down. You have to have your hands up like a goal post for it not to be a foul.
Akitobi will go to the line.
Bears in the bonus.
Oliver Thomas, Akitobi, Hobbs in the game along with Martin, the 5 for the Bears. Akitobi misses the foul shot. 9-point lead for Morgan State. Coming up on the 2-minute mark of the first half.
Morgan State still in that matchup 2-3.
Seven to shoot. Working down low is Watson. He gets it off the glass. That was a tough move.
And again, that's one of those plays where, you know, hey, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, and I'm going to use my physical attributes to get a bucket.
Kasim Watson and his twin brother Kareem Watson. The MEAC has 3 sets of twins in the MEAC conference. What a tough move. Wow, Will Thomas taking on 2 defenders, and it's 32-23.
Will Thomas is going to show up tonight. You can believe that. You're going to see a good game out of him.
Will Thomas with 6 points. The miss by Watson. Here comes Hobbs on the run. Gets it to the corner. Top of the key to Will Thomas, who pulls up from 17. Oh, was that tough?
Will Thomas.
He created space, Coach.
Yeah, he's starting to percolate a little bit.
He only needed a little bit of space.
Yeah. Once he raises up, it's over.
34-23. Watson.
Watson is being very aggressive inside.
There's a timeout on the court with 37 seconds to go before the half. Morgan State up 34-25. There's Will Thomas, 8 points tonight, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 rebounds. His final game here at Hill Fieldhouse in his hometown of Baltimore, Maryland. Things are looking good for the Bears now. 37 seconds to go before the half, up 34-25. Hobbs, who has 7 points. Thomas has 8, scoring for Morgan State. Watson and Smith, the top scorers for Delaware State. There's a near steal by Smith. Smith gets it off the glass. And body foul. Thomas or Smith will be going on the line. Oliver committed the foul, his second. And Smith heads to the line.
Smith plays with an edge, and I like it. I like the way he plays. He's very aggressive, and he knows when to be aggressive, and he also knows how to keep it cool and run the team.
Talked to Coach Waterman, and I said, you know, Robert Smith played, you know, just at the Division II level in Pennsylvania. He said, I think they missed him. I think they missed on him.
They definitely missed him.
But they're glad to have him here.
And that's strange because he's a Philly guy.
Yeah.
You usually don't miss Philly guys.
Yep, played at Bishop McDevitt in Philadelphia. Hobbs off balance and everything, and he puts it in. Morgan State loving it here in the first half, up 36-27. They're trying to get a better seed for the tournament in Norfolk. You could watch at the Norfolk Scope Arena March 12th through the 15th. So there you go. You get your tickets now. MEACHoops.com. Tickets available. Second half underway here. Morgan State, Delaware State. The Bears up 36-27. This is a big game for them because, like I said, they could go from the 5th seed really to the 3rd seed with what could happen over these next 2 games.
Morgan State with the back cut to Akatobi.
Akatobi backdoor, cannot get it to fall. A big man should not miss when they're that close to the basket.
No, that bucket would have put him up 11.
Smith, who had a very hot first half, 10 points. Robinson.
Good block.
Ball gets blocked by Thomas. 2 Baltimore kids going at it right there.
I bet they know each other well.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Thomas and Robinson, 2 kids from Baltimore.
10 years from now, they'll have an adult beverage and talk about that play.
Yes. The time that got blocked. Will Thomas was able to block Robinson. Hobbs. Nothing but net. Another 3 for Hobbs. The second 3 of the game. That's his 50th three-pointer of the season, Coach. 50 three-pointers for Hobbs.
He's a player.
To the bucket goes Smith for 2 in the paint. 10-point lead for Morgan State with the basketball.
Again, Morgan State's being very, very patient. They're doing a good job of taking care of the ball.
Lawson handling the point. Long three-pointer. Doesn't fall in for Oliver. Here comes Robinson to Smith. Watson. What a move. How did he get from where he was to the basket?
Oh, my goodness. And that's one of those perfect situations where you use your dribble to go somewhere. You just don't dribble. You got to use it to go somewhere.
And that spin, just his steps, the length of Watson.
That gives him 10 points.
Watson's been very good. I'm sure Kareem, his brother, will get into action and be a part of this program as well next year. Another second opportunity.
That was a hook.
Yep.
On number 3, Martez Robinson.
Offensive foul called on Robinson. There you see it.
Yeah, you can't use that chicken wing to gain an advantage.
Trying to get around Oliver. He was called for the foul. And that is Robinson's second. So Smith, Robinson, and Watson, all 400-point scorers for Delaware State, who averages 78 points a game.
Excellent, excellent execution.
Akatobi with his second two-handed dunk, and that was because of the ball movement.
Absolutely.
The reverse and then the quick pass inside for Akatobi.
The ball went to the right places, and it ended up in the right guy's hands, wide open.
So I would, if I was coach, I would say to Akatobi, no more putting the ball off the glass, just send it in with two hands. Take a look at this. Great ball movement and an inside. Akatobi going up with a powerful two-handed dunk for Akatobi.
It's just good to see Akatobi on the floor, not in foul trouble, and just doing what he does.
Had a big game over the weekend. Team high 23 points in the win on Saturday. Watson makes his first foul shot.
Watson is very impressive, the way he handles the ball to get to the spots he wants to get to.
Watson 11 points. He has scored over 425 points this season.
And this is one of the advantages that the Bears have. You give Lawson the ball and you allow Hobbs to just run around and try to find a free shot. Another look inside.
Getting to the basket and getting fouled was Will Thomas. That was a little helter-skelter, but I knew what Morgan State was trying to do.
Yes.
That's a good point, though, Coach, that you made with having, you know, Hobbs off the point and let Lawson run the point. We've seen that a couple of times in some games where I guess, you know, it kind of scorer that Hobbs is frees him up a little bit, right?
Yes.
Can get him to the point where he can be ready for a catch and shoot.
And he can run off some of them big bodies to try to get open.
On the line is the Baltimore product, Will Thomas. His last game here at Hill Fieldhouse.
10 points for Thomas tonight. He averages 14 a game.
And he's had some games where he's put up some real big numbers. He had 32 against Cheney. Thomas makes both, and he checks out of the game. And Oliver checks in for him. 10-point lead for Morgan. Coming up at the 17-minute mark of the second half.
Munir Newton from Philadelphia, the gentleman with the ball now, had a really explosive first half.
Watson misses it off the glass. Morgan clears the rebound. Hobbs directing traffic. What a beautiful pass. Wow. Oliver puts it in for two, but you gotta give Hobbs credit for that dime of a pass he threw.
That was an excellent execution by the Bears.
Watson looks to keep it inside, and there's a foul. Over 70 assists for Hobbs, and watch that one.
What makes that thing work is the timing. He waited to the right time to make that cut. Excellent pass, excellent finish.
Over 70 assists for Hobbs. Here comes Morgan State running the break. The alley-oop and the dunk. The two-hander by Martin. And it's 47-33. Fans here at Hill Fieldhouse love it.
Absolutely. The Bears are playing an excellent game today.
Running the break and getting the alley-oop. Smith. Hobbs back to Lawson. Lawson for three and knocks it down. There's the space off the pass, right?
Absolutely. That is Lawson's second three tonight. I really like it when Hobbs is off the ball, because his team does such a good job finding him. 23s
for Lawson on the season now, with 2 here tonight. Inside, basket and a foul. Newton gets the ball and puts it in for 2 for the Hornets, and he'll go to the line for a 3-point play. And there's a time for Coach Brodus. Hill Fieldhouse in Baltimore, Maryland. Bears up 50-37.
Coach Brodus is 57-54 in his career at Morgan State. And in the MEAC, he's 30-25.
Newton misses the foul shot. Morgan State tries to increase their lead. This is a team that they lost to in Dover, Delaware in their first meeting. In a 2-point game. Rob Lawson. So now you got Hobbs, you got Thomas, and then you got Lawson going.
Yeah.
Dangerous combination. That's how you get to 80 points, Coach.
Yeah, that's his third three tonight.
Watson.
Blocka-Toby.
Blocka-Toby is what we call him.
Yeah, get that
shot out of here.
Do we have
the Blocka-Toby t-shirts ready for Norfolk? Another block. This is a team that averages close to 5 blocks a game, and Akatobi comes up with that big block right there. Getting to the basket is Watson. Watson's going to be a problem in this league.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's very aggressive. He handles the ball well. He catches well. And he has the right complements around him.
Coach Waterman's done a great job of recruiting the Philadelphia region. Not too far from Dover, Delaware.
Right.
And he's gotten guys from these big high schools that in the state of Pennsylvania you know about. West Catholics, Archbishop Woods, the Bishop McDevitt's.
Yeah.
Those schools that have a lot of success in Philadelphia basketball.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Catholic League.
Watson makes his first foul shot. Watson, 14 points. Here's a trap. The Bears able to handle it. Get it across half court to Hobbs.
Wasn't conventional, but it worked.
Yeah. Hobbs with the ball, 10 to shoot. Drives. Floater. Oh, wow. What a floater, Hobbs.
Hobbs' bag is pretty deep too. I don't know if it has a prize in the bottom, but
his body was going away from the basket. He was able to float it back.
Absolutely, he is a player.
Smith misses that long three. Take a look at this move by Hobbs.
Off 1 foot, going the opposite way.
Yep, 1 foot. He was going one direction. The basket's back here and still had control. And how about how high he shot it?
Yeah.
That's what you need to do with a floater, right?
Yes, and
get it high.
And he had a couple of games this year where he had more than 10 rebounds, so he can get up.
Coming the other way quickly is Amari Simpkins for the basket.
I think that's his first bucket.
Yep. There's a foul. Down at the other end, Watson was going to the basket. There's a look at Coach Brodus, who was an excellent recruiter at the University of Maryland in College Park.
And Georgetown.
Yeah, was also spent his time at Georgetown and was the head coach at Binghamton, New York, before his other head coaching job. And he was at Maryland and Georgetown, as you mentioned, an excellent recruiter there. And here in his 6th season, he took over in 2019. Well, we already know that Morgan State has proven that they could beat Norfolk State. They did that here. So I would say they feel pretty good about the tournament, that there's not a team in the MEAC that they can't beat in a one-game elimination tournament like the MEAC tournament.
I believe it, and so do they.
Yes. Watson makes his second basket. And of course, Delaware State, Coach Waterman, he did it last year. They came, no one thought they'd make it to the tournament championship game a year ago, and they did that and had Howard on the ropes down to the final minute. Another dunk from Akatobi, his third dunk of the night.
Akatobi, boy, is he playing well tonight.
Coming off that performance Saturday where he had 23 and 10 rebounds.
And coming into this game for the season, he had 200 rebounds.
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot.
59-41, Morgan State with the lead. Inside goes Robinson and gets the ball blocked, and here comes Morgan State on transition, getting to Thomas. Thomas goes up and he's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot two. As Watson committed the foul. Or Simpkins, excuse me.
Foul called Hornets number 11, Kazim Watson.
Wow, Akatobi
Team foul number 3.
puts it down with two. Simpkins running the floor on transition. Will have two foul shots as Watson committed the foul. That's Watson's first.
One of the things that's a little different about this game, we haven't seen Coach Brodus use any of his full court zone package on defense. I haven't seen any of that, but I've seen the good man-to-man, full court, half court, as well as that matchup 2-3.
Simpkins makes both. 61-41, 20-point lead for the Bears. This score might be a little surprising to some in the MEAC. Watson loses it. Here comes Morgan State. Hobbs has it again to Simpkins. Simpkins in the paint, misses the shot. Hornets pull down the rebound.
Simpkins was a little off balance on that shot.
Three-pointer in the air for James and good. 44-61, 12 minutes to play, second half. Second to last game in the MEAC regular season.
Lawson has played a marvelous game today.
He has.
Akatobi.
Using that pivot. Morgan State in control this one. Could they stay in control? They would like that. They would like one more win. They're 5-1s. The dunks. Akatobi with 8 points. He doesn't miss dunks. He had a couple of misses right under the basket, but he's not going to miss the two-handed jams. He also has a block or two thrown in there as well. You like Blocker-Toby, you like Dunk-a-Toby. Whatever's going to sell the T-shirt, I think, is what you go with. 61-44, Morgan State in control.
It's good to see Akatobi play. He's played 28 minutes.
He's learning not to foul. It's been the problem earlier in MEAC play. He would get himself in foul trouble. There's a block.
That was the point guard.
All the way out in the corner.
Lawson.
Blocking a three.
He really covered some ground.
Yeah, I'll say.
Went out there with the correct hand.
Here's another look on the closeout.
Yeah.
Closeout led to a block. Down low, working hard in the paint, unable to get the basket on the Delaware State bigs. Somerville. Akatobi has the ball outside, looking for someone to pass to. On the cut. Pretty play there. Will Thomas gets the basket, the assist from Akatobi.
Those guys really have a good feel for one another. Akatobi's passing is really improving.
Foul call Hornets number 24, Raymond Somerville. That's his
Watch him
first
get himself
foul.
open.
Team foul
Just
number 4.
a little kiss off the glass.
Yeah, I like how Akatobi led him into the shot. Threw it in front of him, threw it in the direction he was going. Good catch, good kiss off the glass.
Called an offensive foul on Somerville, his first. Hobbs thinking about something, and here comes the trap on Hobbs. Somerville, or Newton blocks it.
Hobbs got to be careful dribbling the ball in the trap areas. If you catch it, try to get rid of it as opposed to dribbling it first.
Inbounds right in front of us. Simpkins gets it into Hobbs. 10:30 to go. The second half. Morgan State in control. Hobbs throws it up. Akatobi goes to the rim, and there's a whistle and a foul on the drive.
Foul call. Hornets number 3. Martin Robinson.
Robinson committed the foul.
That's his fourth
And that's Robinson's fourth foul.
Team foul number 5.
Robinson, one of the top scorers in the league, has 4 fouls. And they've held him, coach, to just 2 points.
Yeah, this hasn't been his night tonight.
Robinson, 451 points, averaging 16 a game.
Whoa.
And he only has 2 tonight.
Yeah. Let's credit Coach Hobbs, his staff, and his kids, because they're really playing good D tonight.
Watson, 16 points. He leads the way scoring for Delaware State. And then it's Hobbs, 14, Thomas, 12. The top scorer for Morgan State. 65-44.
Akatobi now with 9 points.
Morgan State will stay in Baltimore, but on the road at Coppin State on Thursday night. Coppin State, a team that's just 5-22 and 3-9 in conference play. So you would think that would bear well for Morgan State. The Bears would love going to the tournament, coach, on a 3-game win streak.
Yeah.
Their last 6, they're just 2-4 in their last 6 games. They won on a 3-game win streak with the Norfolk State, Coppin State, Maryland Eastern Shore, and then they lost to Delaware State, South Carolina State, beat North Carolina Central, lost to Howard and Norfolk. 2-4 in those last 6. Got the win on Saturday. They'd love to put together 3 wins in a row if they could going into tournament play. James on the foul line makes his first.
James has 4 points tonight.
20-point game.
From Bridgeport, Connecticut, freshman.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people around the MEAC will look at this score and be surprised how dominant the Morgan State Bears have been tonight.
They've really, really done a really good job. And there's been guys that stepped up
against
and gave them good minutes.
Yep, against a team, Coach Waterman's team, winners 8 of their last 11, one of the hottest teams in the conference. So this is a statement. And an offensive foul called on Morgan State. And they got that on Lawson.
Looked like that could have been one of those old-time butt screens that they don't allow you to throw anymore.
Here's a look at it.
Oh, no, he crashed into him with his shoulder.
Yep. You try to make that look like it was the momentum of the pass, but you can't crash into someone like that. James misses the 3. Toby the rebound and the outlet. Here comes Morgan running the floor. The shot gets blocked at the other end.
Great block.
Back comes the Hornets. 3-pointer, Robert Smith from the corner.
It's going to take that kind of effort for those guys to close the gap.
And that was a contested 3.
Yeah.
Smith still knocked it down. 65-49, 9 minutes to go. Akatobi stays strong and puts it in.
Great job by Akatobi.
Akatobi, 12 points. Watson. Watson gets his own rebound. Kick out for 3, Smith. Got it. If you want a guy that can get you back into the game, that's the guy, Robert Smith.
That's his 4th 3 tonight.
There's a timeout on the floor. The Hornets. Robert Smith, who's had the hot hand, corner 3, and he's gotten hot and trying to get the Hornets back in this game. 67-52, 8:37 to go. As far as foul troubles, Robinson has 4 personal fouls for Delaware State, and Oliver with 4 personal fouls for Morgan State. The only 2 players that have 4 fouls.
Robert Smith's stats are very, very impressive. He's 8-14 from 2. He's 4 for 8 from 3. He has 20 points.
Akatobi 1 rebound away from another double-double. There's the trap and the turnover. Almost a turnover. They get it back. Here comes Morgan State. The 3 fired up and missed. And here comes the Hornets on transition.
I'm not sure that that's the shot that coach wanted.
No, I don't think so. The rebound pulled down by Oliver.
Oliver has hops. Boy, can he get up. This is the matchup everybody came to see. Hobbs versus Smith.
Lawson, 5 to shoot. Pulls up. Last touch by Morgan State, and shot clock violation. It'll be Delaware State's basketball. And there's a timeout on the floor. Morgan State averages 80 points a game, and this is how you get there. 3 players in double digits. Hobbs 14, Thomas 12, Akatobi has 12, and Lawson with 9. Oliver has 8. You have 3 players in double digits, almost 4 in double digits. That's how you can score 80 a game.
Akatobi's got to find a way to stay away from those type of plays.
Yeah, that's his 4th now, Coach.
Yes, 4.
Yep, so he has 4, and Oliver has 4.
He's 1 rebound away from a double-double.
Yep. Coach Brodus now with 2 players with 4 fouls. And Martin's going to come in for Akatobi. Keep an eye on the MEAC scoreboard. Norfolk State and North Carolina Central are tied at 76 all with 20 seconds to go. And South Carolina State has a 68-64 lead over Howard with 2:02 to go. Maryland Eastern Shore is in control of Coppin State 61-49 with 5 minutes remaining in that game. Lawson, and then cleaned up for the 2.
Will Thomas.
The putback bucket. He has a ton of ways to score.
Yes, he does.
Smith had it blocked, and then inside and going up strong is Newton. Scoring for Delaware State. Smith has those 20 points. Watson has 16. Newton now has 9, leading the way for the Hornets.
They put a plethora of guys on Cameron Hobbs tonight. They're not going to let you touch him, particularly as he's moving with the live dribble towards the basket.
Shepard committed the foul for the Hornets, his first. Lawson to the basket. And another foul called.
Delaware State's got to do a much better job of avoiding those straight line drives.
James committed the foul, his first. So Lawson on the line. His 9 points, 3 of his first opportunity on the foul line. And misses his first. Lawson, a 74% foul shooter. 3 of 10 from the field. He's 3 of 4 from three-point land is Lawson tonight. He has 3 assists.
He's been a steady player for the Bears all year. Be it on the ball, off the ball, his defense is solid, he'll rebound, and he can score.
We've said it before, Coach, usually the magic number for Morgan State to a victory if they get in that 80-point range.
Absolutely. That's what they want to do. Having some equipment adjustment. Gosh.
They've only lost one time this season after having a lead at the half.
Lawson's now in double figures. Turnover.
So 4 players from Oregon State now in double figures scoring. Hobbs, Thomas, Akatobi, and now Lawson with 10.
Corey Perkins, number 2, Jackson Hornets. Cameron Hobbs at the line.
Foul was on James, his second. Hobbs at the line.
Hobbs is 85% from the line.
Makes his first. When you score in the upper 20s, like he had that stretch when he was scoring, you know, an 8-9 game stretch, coach, when he was scoring 24, 25. You have to take advantage of those free throws, right?
Absolutely.
To get there, get there.
And he understood the assignment.
Yep. Makes both foul shots here, and it's 72-56. Morgan State well on their way to 80 points or more with 6:15 to go here in the second half.
Morgan State switches up back to that 2-3.
Smith. Good save by the Hornets. Smith to the basket. Great body control. Takes contact and was able to put it in off the glass. Smith, 22 points, leading both teams scoring.
He's worth the price of admission. I'm very, very happy that I got a chance to see that kid play. He's one of the top players in the MEAC.
Hard to believe he was at a Division II Westchester school in Pennsylvania before transferring here. Lawson to miss on that shot. Smith again. Misses off the top of the backboard.
I think Hobbs wants to slow it down here a little bit. A little ball movement, body movement.
He'll run some clock coming up on the 5-minute mark in this one. Bears up 72-58. Looking to revenge a loss from earlier this year when they lost by 2 points, 84-82 in Dover. Getting to the glass, Morgan State gets the rebound. Thomas, tough shot.
Boy, is he tough.
There's a timeout on the court. Morgan State, Coach Brodus calls the timeout after that Thomas basket. He had the highest seed they could possibly get. There's Robert Smith. What a night. 22 points. Robert Smith, a 3-time Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference player, all-conference player when he played at Westchester in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's a nice move.
Very nice move, backing down and turning for 2 is Newton. Norfolk State and North Carolina Central, coach, they're in overtime.
Oh, boy.
Central's up 80-78, 3:21 to go in OT. It looks like South Carolina State's going to take care of Howard. 73-65 there with 50 seconds remaining. So we'll keep an eye on that Norfolk State, North Carolina Central game in overtime now.
Morgan State just turned the ball over in front of their bench.
Only their 10th turnover of the night, though, Coach.
Yes, and that's great for them.
The runner in the paint falls short. So again, it comes down to where are you going to be seated? You head to the scope at Norfolk. Bears have an opportunity, the way things play out, to maybe have the 3rd or the 4th seed, or possibly the 5th. There's a foul called
on Will Thomas. I know Coach Brodus is ready to pull his hair out. I mean, they've done everything right up to this point. You got to just stick with what you were doing.
Thomas 4 personal fouls, Akatobi has 4, and Oliver has 4. So now 3 players for Morgan State with 4 fouls. Looks like Akatobi's going to check in with the 4 personals.
But as long as Delaware State's missing free throws, keep doing what you're doing.
Delaware State Coach 13 of 19 on the foul line.
Whoa. Missed 2 in a row.
Yep. If you want to get back into a game, you need to score when the clock is stopped. Last touch by Morgan State. It will be Delaware State ball, and coach will take a timeout. The Hornets take a timeout. We'll step aside as well. State. Akatobi with 4, Oliver 4, Thomas with 4, Lawson with 3. So three players with 4 fouls.
Coach, when Akatobi gets that rebound, he has to do with, and I'm sure you teach it also, you got to chin that thing. You know, you can't hug it like it's your girlfriend. You got to chin it.
Chin it up. Smith.
Whoa, boy.
Takes it right at Akatobi and gets the basket. He was looking to get Akatobi fouled out, but he'll take the 2. Here comes some pressure, full court pressure by Delaware State. It's a 74-62 game. Quickly goes Hobbs, the alley-oop. As Oliver was hung up on the rim. Newton called for the foul for Delaware State. Newton's 3rd foul. So 3:35 to go in this one, 74-62. Here's a look at it. As Oliver hung on the rim. Make sure he didn't come down on anyone below him. And Akatobi goes to the line.
That was good use of discretion by the officials, because you don't want the kids getting hurt as they're trying to land.
Akatobi misses the foul shot. He's 2 of 4 from the line.
That's it.
There's the 5th foul, right, Coach?
Yep.
Right at Akatobi, and he will foul out of this game. Akatobi leaves the game with 12 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from the foul line, 10 rebounds, and 1 block. And Akatobi fouls out.
He's played about 33 minutes today.
Martin comes in to replace Akatobi at the 3:28 mark. Corey Perkins on the foul line. Corey Perkins played for Coach Waterman in high school, won a state title. And Corey's dad is on the coaching staff. Corey's dad was an outstanding player at East Tennessee State University in Johnson City. Last season, Corey Perkins had his season-ending injury after getting his 3rd start.
Good friend of mine, Jeff Lebo, used to be the coach at East Tennessee State years ago.
Oh, they're going to have the band. They don't want the band playing. So a warning to make sure the band stops playing.
Man, if I would ever get a tech because of the band, oh my goodness.
That would really set you off, right,
yeah,
Coach?
Yeah, man. Me and my AD, we'd be nose to nose.
.320 to go in this one. Delaware State wants to get back in it. Here comes their full court pressure. They get it back to the inbounder. And they're on their way.
They're going to be trapping all over the place,
yep,
except in the middle of the floor.
Hobbs has it in the middle, but you know if it's going to the corner or sidelines, it's going to be a trap. Hobbs dribbles that way and then comes back.
Good patience by the Bears.
7 to shoot on the shot clock. And Simpkins misses the shot. Here comes the Hornets on transition. Smith, who has the hot hand. Smith gets to the basket, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. 24 points on the night for Smith. He'll look to add to that.
Where did he find that crack at? Man, that man, he puts it on the floor. He finds a little bit of space, and he fights his way through it.
Fake to the baseline and brought it back.
Yeah.
Smith on the foul line, 74% foul shooter from the line, makes his first, 25 points. He leads all scorers. 10 of 20 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3. He's 1 of 2 from the foul line. Makes his second. 74-65. Bears with the lead in the basketball. Hobbs 16 points, Thomas 16, leading the way for Morgan State.
Morgan State's playing it real safe right now and very smart. Here was
Will Thomas with the lob and the dunk to Martin. We've seen that before. The alley-oop to Martin.
Jaden Martin with 8 points. And there's that
Smith
man again.
returns it with 3. And Coach Waterman calls timeout after that three-pointer. 30-second timeout.
That's Smith's.
Osberg and Shippensburg that had to deal with Robert Smith when he was at Westchester.
They were glad he was gone. They probably helped him pack.
Here comes the full court pressure. 76-68. 2 timeouts for Morgan. Delaware State has 1 remaining.
And you got to pass it up.
Yeah,
there
Hobbs
you go.
Dribbles through it. On the floor it goes, and possession arrow belongs to Delaware State.
Yep. When you see your best guy scrapping on the floor like that, that tells you got to get your butt in gear and help him a little bit. Great play by Smith.
You can't dribble through a press, Coach.
No, you can't.
You got to pass.
Yep. Catch the ball, turn, look towards their basket, and look for the open man.
Hobbs might have held it just a little too long on his dribble. There goes Smith to the basket. No foul called.
Yeah, he got clobbered.
Hobbs, lob pass to Lawson. So you have Hobbs and Lawson, 2 pretty good guards trying to get you through this pressure. And there's a foul called.
This is just a 12-point ball game. I mean, a lot of things can happen, particularly when you got a Robert Smith on your ball club.
Smith 2 personal fouls now. 1:55 to go. Again, Morgan State has 2 timeouts. Delaware State has 1. Akitobi is fouled out. Thomas has 4 fouls. Oliver has 4 fouls. Lawson's first one is good.
Lawson has been phenomenal tonight.
34 seconds to go in overtime. North Carolina Central 86, Norfolk State 82. That'd be a huge upset tonight in the MEAC. North Carolina Central just 12-17 overall and 5-7 in conference play. Norfolk State 20-9 overall and 10-2 in conference play. It'll be Norfolk State 2nd consecutive loss. Keep you up to date on that game in overtime.
Nice pass.
Beautiful pass. Watson down low, keeps with it and puts it in for 2. 7-point game now. And there's a whistle and a foul on Delaware State. Smith with the personal foul, his 3rd. Coming down, Watson hangs with it and gets the 2nd opportunity to put it in, and then they needed the ball back.
Watson's one of those guys. He's a big guy as far as height, but he has little guy kind of skill and quickness and ball handling.
Hobbs 18 points.
It's one of the things you gotta love about Hobbs, man. He will finish the game at the stripe for you.
6 of 7 on the line. He has 3 assists, 3 steals tonight. He's going to get very close to his average of 20 points. Or over his average.
Morgan State's back in that 2-3.
9-point game. Ball knocked out of bounds. South Carolina State beat Howard tonight by 10, 79-69. And Maryland Eastern Shore beat Coppin State 72-59. We're still waiting for a final in that Norfolk State, North Carolina Central game. They're in overtime, and it's a 2-point game. 3-pointer.
Robert Smith.
Robert Smith again. 32 points for Smith. 79-73, 1:15 to go. The Hornets not going away here in the Den. Lawson on the drive, no foul called. Take a look. Very quick. They hit that a couple of times. The inbound pass right to a three.
It's unbelievable how many times he's open for the first pass on an inbounds play.
32 points. He's 6 of 13 from 3 tonight. 6 3-pointers. He has 4 steals and 12 of 23 from the field. Foul called as Simpkins was going to the basket. So 1:01 to go. Robinson fouls out. Robinson tonight, the guy who can score, only has 2 points, and he fouls out of the game. Robinson tonight, coach, was 1 of 13 from the field.
Whoa.
Had 3 assists, 6 rebounds, and he fouls out of the game.
It wasn't his night tonight. I mean, that happens.
Came into this game with 451 points. That's a 16-point average, held to 2.
Whoa. Again, let's credit, Coach Brodus, his staff, and his kids, because they really got after it defensively. What they've got to do is make sure that Robert Smith doesn't pull off a miracle.
Simpkins makes his first. Wasn't the homecoming that Robinson wanted. He's a Baltimore kid, grad student at Delaware State. Probably has a lot of family here tonight. Simpkins makes both foul shots, and it's 81-73. Last minute. 1 timeout for Delaware State, 2 for Morgan State. Whoop, is he on the line?
Yes, it
yes,
was.
He is. Great call. Great job by our crew catching that one.
Also, great job by Cameron Hobbs.
Here's a steal for Delaware State. The dunk. The dunk by Newton, and it's 81-75. Off the turnover. Norfolk State 87 with 3 seconds to go.
And one of the smart things I really appreciate Coach Brodus about is he puts his best guy who inbounds the ball to take it out.
Baseline is open, so they run the baseline, and Morgan State calls timeout. They have 1 remaining. Delaware State is out of timeouts with 52 seconds to go, and Morgan up by 6.
That's a huge win.
So North Carolina Central 89-87, the final. In overtime. Actually, the final 91-87. North Carolina Central 91-87 final in overtime. The Eagles with the upset tonight.
Got to keep the ball hot, gentlemen. You don't want to get fouled unless you're Cameron Hobbs.
Yep.
These are huge free throws right here.
Oliver heads to the line.
Score can go from a 6-point lead to an 8-point lead. He hits the first.
Oliver's first time at the line tonight and makes the first one.
That's his 9th point.
Oliver, a 76% foul shooter. He's only been there 27 times.
Misses
the second. Yep. 82-75, 40 seconds to go. Delaware State needs to score in a hurry. The follow in the basket. Newton again. Take a look at this. The reverse doesn't go in. Morgan State inbounding the basketball, having a hard time to get it in. Almost a steal. Here comes Hobbs, clears it with 30 seconds to go. Hobbs is fouled out front by Perkins, and Hobbs will go to the foul line. We know already how good of a foul shooter Hobbs is.
Absolutely. This is this kind of situation where you really find out a lot about the individuals on your ball club. Some guys don't want to go to the free throw line. Some guys, instead of running to the ball, they'll run away from the ball. This Hobbs guy, he wants all the smoke.
Hobbs, 8 of 9 from the foul line tonight, has 20 points. He's the leading scorer for Morgan State. Misses the second, so he's missed 2 foul shots here tonight. 8 of 10 from the foul line. There's Smith with the miss, fighting for the rebound. And it is Delaware State basketball. 21 seconds to go in this game. Morgan up by 6, 83-77. 6 and 7 in conference play.
Delaware State on the baseline out of bounds. Let's see what they drew up.
Probably a quick three to Smith. Smith stepped on the line. They tried to run it to him.
Morgan did a much better job because, you know, he hit 2 threes
right there in that
just
corner.
right off the first pass.
Yep. Smith has 32 points tonight, 6 3-pointers. So full court denial by Delaware State. Shepard called with a foul. With 20 seconds to go.
Six-point lead by the Bears.
I think that the conference is wide open. The tournament is going to be wild at Norfolk Scope Arena March 12th through the 15th. I think there's probably any one of 5 teams that could win it.
Yes, especially after the upset that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Lawson makes 1 of 2. Delaware State needs to score quickly. No timeouts. And the ball goes out of bounds, and it'll be Morgan State basketball with 13.5 seconds to go. Morgan State.
Might be a good time to put all 5 guys out of bounds and just run a football play. Because once they get comfortable lining up on your guards, particularly, it's going to be much more difficult to get the ball in.
13.5 seconds remain. Get it into Lawson, and he'll go to the foul line. Lawson has a chance to add to his 11 points. Hobbs has 20, Thomas 16, Akatobi, who fouled out, 12, Oliver 9, Simpkins 6, Edwards 2, and Martin has 8.
And with 12.4 seconds left, Rob Lawson can put a bow on this thing. Well,
misses the first.
I guess they want to play some more.
Morgan State, final home game, looking for their 11th win at home. It'll be 11-4 home record. Pretty good at home. On the road, not so good. 2-12 on the road this season for Coach Brodus. The back-to-back wins. They'll try to make it 3 in a row on Thursday when they're at Coppin State.
Why?
I don't know why Lawson would foul there.
I don't get it either. You're up 8.
Gets Smith to the line to add to his 32 points. So maybe he wanted Smith to get 34 on the night.
It could be friends.
So Smith on the foul line, who's been dynamite tonight, 12 of 24 from the field, 6 3-pointers. He has 4 steals and makes the first one, give him 33. 85-78's our score, 9 seconds to go. Morgan State, senior night, last game at home. Going to do it with a victory. 34 points on the night for Smith. What an incredible night for him. First meeting in Dover, Delaware, won by the Hornets, 84-82. Tonight, different story. Morgan had a 20-point lead at points in this game. Delaware State came back to make it somewhat close. 8 seconds to go. Oliver will go to the line to shoot foul shots. There's Coach Brodus. 8 seniors tonight on senior night. Coach Waterman took his team last year to the MEAC Conference Championship game. Lost to Howard. Howard was the team that represented the MEAC last year in the NCAA tournament. Who will it be this year? Oliver on that foul line. It's at 87-79. 8 seconds to go. Morgan State will be at Coppin State. So the Thursday matchups, Coach, North Carolina Central at South Carolina State, Norfolk State at Howard, Maryland Eastern Shore at Delaware State, and Morgan State at Coppin. That's your schedule for Thursday. James goes down and gets the quick two.